The defense will continue focusing on the alcohol found inside the Khumalo home on the night of Senzo Meyiwa's murder.
In fact, the lawyer for accused number 5 read out witness statements yesterday that suggested that cans of alcohol were tidied up by a neighbour who actually came in with 2 others after the shooting. Newzroom Afrika's Mnisi is watching the story. He's live to us once again, just outside the High Court sitting in Pretoria. And those statements, Linda, are considered bombshells because they reveal to us, again, just the state potentially that the people who are in that house were in at the time of the shooting, and that opens us up to a whole lot more questions.
In fact, I understand that the defense is using the term cleaning up to describe what happened hours before Sergeant Thabo Mosia arrived at the Khumalo home in Vosloorus. We heard those witness statements detailing how when they entered into the house, in fact, they found the door locked. You'll remember, this, in fact, closed. This is the door that the alleged intruders are said to have used to enter into this particular house. So these 3 witnesses are saying that, in fact, they found the door closed and they entered this particular house. And one of the witnesses, in fact, says she was quite surprised to find that there was water on the floor, given that the claim at the time was that there had been a shooting. And then while she was still focusing on that, here is another neighbor who's now collecting these cans of alcohol, saying that she did not want the police to find out that the people who were in the house had in fact been consuming alcohol. She goes on to detail how later on when they left, a contingent of police vehicles arrived and they cordoned off that particular scene. You'll remember when Sergeant Thabo Mosia testified last week, he did make mention that when he arrived, he found police inside of the house. So already was sitting with 2 groups of people, from the evidence that we've heard, 2 groups of people who entered that house before the forensic expert arrived to collect the evidence. You'll remember he said he got the call 4 hours after Meyiwa was murdered to come and collect his evidence. There were delays in him arriving, and all of that transpired during the time before he arrived.
I wonder whether or not, Linda, it's a foregone conclusion that Maggie Phiri herself might have something to answer to here in this particular trial.
In fact, you'll remember the second docket in this matter, 375, actually has her as one of the suspects, saying that, in fact, there was a cleaning of the scene. You would have heard Advocate Malisa Latifo saying last week that in that particular docket, it actually does detail that there was a cleaning of the scene. And the charge that was added there was the charge of defeating the ends of justice. Of course, he says that, that particular docket was not pursued for whatever reason. He says the reasons were not given as to why the NPA suddenly decided not to pursue that particular docket. But it's quite clear from the line of questioning from the defense, if you look at Advocate Malisa Latifo's cross-examination as well as Advocate Zandile Mshololo's cross-examination, the line in which they're really going into detail in terms of pursuing this evidence around the possibilities of the contamination of the scene, but also the way in which evidence was collected in that particular house, because Sergeant Thabo Mosia says that he did not investigate, Senzo Meyiwa's car, despite the fact that there were claims that he had been taken to hospital with that very same car. Now here he would have been able, according to the defense, to pick up evidence such as blood stains. We heard how yesterday inside the house, Sergeant Thabo Mosia saying that he actually did not find blood stains on the floor, when in fact Senzo Meyiwa was said to have been shot in the kitchen. He says in the kitchen what he found were blood splatters which were on the tiled wall, and then in the lounge there were blood stains between the TV stand as well as the couch. So that particular evidence becomes important in terms of what could have possibly happened after the shooting, in fact.
Sure. The twists and turns seemingly having no end. Linda Mnisi, thanks very much indeed. We'll be with you once again in court as soon as proceedings for today get underway. Linda Mnisi is live to us there from just outside the High Court in Pretoria.